What up? What up? What up? It's good to be back. We're true form winging it today. We've got we've got lots of good stuff coming up, but you get that lull in between where you don't really know what to talk about. And the weather's been nice, and I'm here with a couple fresh sunburns and ready to give her, I guess.
Yeah, it's we need to keep putting shows out. That's what the people want. So
That's what all five of you want.
even if it means we have to riff for an episode, but there's in this what is it, the fourth turning? There's lots going on always, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's been what's going on this week? We got Putin's in China now. Trump was just there. Now Putin's there. I saw something. They made him. Xi made him walk from the car all the way over to him. He didn't greet him. He made old Pooty Pants walk over there.
Well, if any world leader is fit enough to do it, it's probably bare chested on a horse Putin.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Are you old enough to, or are you? Do you?
I remember that picture. Yeah. He well, wasn't he in the KGB? Wasn't he full on I guess it's mandatory service, I think, in Russia too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or at least in his day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
He was, and I think he became, when he first became president or whatever, it was only supposed to be for a couple terms, and then he dicked around with a whole bunch of constitutional things, like happens in our country too. You know what I mean? And there he is, still in power.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It was funny though, how they made him look in the beginning, because it was that stuff, right? There was pictures of him on a horse, bare chested in Siberia hunting. Right, no joke. And the best one I remember was him playing in a hockey game against the old Red Army team, a bunch of Hall of Famers, and Putin's team won 10-1, and he got 9 goals.
Yeah. Okay.
That's when it was North Korea kind of style stuff. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I was just gonna say very Kim Jong-un. Doing layups on Dennis Rodman.
But I'm not Putin bad the same way I'm not Trump, Orange Man bad. They're all, as we discuss often, they're all bad.
Yeah, they're all bad. Hey, at least their leader could do a push-up. I don't think ours could. Yeah.
Elbows up, buddy. Elbows up.
Yeah.
Mr. Burns couldn't. Yeah, Mr. Burns. How many chin-ups do you think Mark Carney could do?
Oh, I think if he hung from a bar, his arms would probably fall off.
It would just rip out of his sockets.
Yeah,
it would just be arms hanging. Yeah.
I don't think he's ever done a push-up in his life.
No, I don't think so.
No. But yeah. So here we are. He's I don't know if you saw the Carney's latest thing is he wants to sell off all of our airports and ports to private investors. He wants
really?
He basically wants to strip our infrastructure. It's I think it's a sign that Canada has no money.
That's why he was brought in, though, right? He was brought in to piece us off. They had the jackass from before, that donkey. I think almost on purpose. So Carney, you know what I mean? Carney just slides under the radar, and somehow even some conservative people seem to think that he's better suited to run this country, and it's just because he is going to piece it off a little bit at a time. He was in BC today meeting with David Eby, our premier.
Oh yeah.
And it was a little heavy. It was just before we're recording. I think it was a couple hours ago. And he was pretty, not harsh, but he was stern about not, if BC doesn't agree to put a pipeline through, they're just going to figure out ways to do it with other provinces and leave BC out of a lot of things. But the whole press conference was about Carney talking about energy and how Canada needs to step up to be an energy leader, especially now. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Go. You were going to say something?
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say like Brookfield is heavily invested in like energy infrastructure and in technology and stuff, right? So it all comes down to personal interest, I think. Like, you
Hmm.
know, that's Mr. Mr. Climate Change himself all of a sudden is pushing pipelines. That doesn't really make sense to me, right? Like,
Just the switch. Well, we have to. There's an energy crisis.
yeah.
Right? And we talked about it last week, and I know we'll get into because we seem to talk about AI and data centers a lot, but that's another thing, right? Like all these new big giant data centers say that they're going to run off LNG, which Canada has a lot of.
Mhm.
So they've got to, you know what I mean? Like they're I think they're chomping at the bit because, and that's going to be a ton. They're going to use a ton of it, like so much.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
even think people understand how much natural gas they're going to use.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be pretty wild. I don't
Mhm.
think and it's interesting too because it's like, that whole industry has kind of been suppressed over the last call it decade. Like
Mhm.
there's slow growth to it, but they've really like delayed projects and thrown a bunch of red tape at it and kind of diverted investments here and there and pushed it off and now all of a sudden it's like green light, right? Like they knew that they couldn't, you know, couldn't light the candle too quick.
Mhm.
Couldn't light that fuse too quick. They had to like wait until the plan was in place and then okay, now we can access this natural resource.
And
Yeah.
Carney's, because you were saying before just about, like, why the switch to accessing this natural resource, like, after kind of beating because the oil industry has taken a beating over the last while, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
it was I remember its heyday since I've been alive, and it was you know what I mean? It was a very busy job that a very respectable job, and there was lots of people who did it, and business was booming, and Alberta was booming, and Canada was booming.
Hmm.
And then they kinda shat all over it, and here we are, and I was gonna say, sorry, so Carney's way around this whole environmental thing, including the pipeline in BC, is using as long as they use the right carbon capture system, as
There
long
it is.
right? This nonsense that is owned by companies once again, like, it's I was gonna say that also, like, every Brookfield and every company in Canada is like the States, is the same, is owned by the politicians
Yeah.
and the elite. Well, that's not the word. What are we gonna call them again? The
Yeah.
parasitic class, right? Like, they're the ones who own all the stock in all those companies.
Hmm.
I don't know, it's crazy the politicians do. Like, of course, they're gonna push for their own money to make more money.
Oh, for sure. And it's interesting that like that whole carbon capture thing because like I remember they started pushing carbon credits and all that to like the pipeline companies and stuff a while back and everyone kind of was just like all right like no one really saw how it was going to work
Mhm.
like it was kind of like it was like collecting air miles like they'll just sit there forever and then eventually you'll buy a trip to Hawaii kind of thing but I actually have a friend
Mhm.
who I used to work with who's now working for a company that does they built an AI program around carbon capture, so they're selling carbon capture implementation to all of these facilities. So, yeah, I mean, he's making a killing doing it, but, um,
Yeah, it's a big thing, and it gives you know what I mean? It gets you grants, and it gets you like, I know they're trying to make it a big thing in construction as well, like in concrete and things like that.
mhm,
Um, I'm not gonna name the company out here, but they use like, they advertise that they use a carbon capture system, so their concrete is carbon neutral, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
it's I don't full I will be the first to admit I don't fully understand the process of how they capture the carbon.
So a lot of it is like the early iterations of it were basically like you have like anytime you're producing any kind of or any kind of gas or you're like drilling for oil, you're pumping oil out. There's off gassing that happens, right? So you're fracking, you're pulling oil out of the ground, and then with that comes other shit. Like
Mhm.
there's gases that come off, and so instead of just letting that go into like the atmosphere, you capture that and then you use that to run your facility. So it
Mhm.
started early on with like and they do it with uh lumber mills and stuff like that as well. So they'll capture like all the like physical carbon that comes off of, extra, just like say they're processing lumber, there's like a bunch of shit left over. Well, you can turn that, because it is carbon based, you can turn that into fuel. So they'll turn it
Mhm.
into like a biodiesel and then use that biodiesel to run their machinery.
Mhm.
But I mean, with that, it's all a farce in a sense, because you have to. I mean, it's, on one hand, it's like, yeah, of course you want to use as much as you can, so you're not pumping more fuel into your facility, but also like you need additional you need additional machinery to run the machinery. You need a whole add-on and a retrofit to your facility to do that. And in order to do that, you have to create that. It's just another commissioned project. It's just a way for them to funnel money effectively.
I agree with you 100%. And I'm sure they knew the world was going this way. Like, I think anyone knew the world was gonna go this way, right? When you started learning about the 3 R's of recycling and
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like, you knew where the world was going. But I think they wanted to get all their ducks in a row first. And you know what I mean? They're the ones, like I said, who own all the companies or whose friends own all the companies, or it's where
Yeah.
their money is. They wanted to make sure that was in place first. And Mark Carney, it's his wife, right? Who's big, I think, into that whole. I know Brookfield is as well, but I think his
Mhm.
wife and her family are also big into this whole movement as well.
I'm pretty
And
sure, yeah. Like
mhm.
sustainability goals and all that, right?
That so you told me Brookfield, because when we were trying to come up with the show, full disclosure, it was going to be a full Kevin O'Leary expose. And
Yeah.
then something didn't pan out. Like I agree with you with what you said about it. I don't, I don't think it's a thing.
There's not a direct connection. So there
Yeah,
is, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
we
yeah,
can,
yeah.
we can break it down. There's like this, call it a fringe conspiracy sort of rabbit hole that Courtney Love was basically sent to. I mean, so it goes back to Courtney Love's dad wrote a book. It was her biological father wrote this
Yeah.
book because he used to work for the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, he's a road manager, I think. Yeah, for the dead.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he has all these stories about basically like trafficking LSD and stuff into the US and Great Britain,
Yeah.
through using musicians and the like hippie movement and all that. But he has a book about basically how Courtney Love is responsible for the death of Kurt Cobain, and that Kurt Cobain didn't off himself. It was, coordinated and whatnot. And part of that story is that she was actually sort of like trafficked, I guess, into or to England to reintroduce LSD and just drugs into that music scene again, and into like the grunge scene there, when she was like a late teen.
Yeah, she
Um,
was like 17.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But with that, there's the names that are tied to that. He mentions a guy named Stephen O'Leary, and as this guy that basically took her under his wing and put her out there. Stephen O'Leary has a brother named Kevin O'Leary that was also involved. And this all happened. It was through England, but Stephen O'Leary, I believe, was actually from Dublin. Him and his brother were living in Dublin. He ended up being like MI6 or CIA or something like that. So we were trying to find the connection between, oh, is this, Canada's Kevin O'Leary? Because
Mhm.
in 2015, there was a dinner that Kevin O'Leary had with Courtney Love, and it was on TMZ or whatever. You sent me the link to TMZ.
Mhm.
And that just ended up being, it was in 2005. That was the meeting that took place?
2015.
2015. Oh, that was 2015. So she was, yeah. So apparently the meeting was just about, rights to her music publishing, which she ended up selling off to, oh, what were they called? What did I say they were called? This other music publishing company. Um, Primary Wave Music Publishing is who ended up buying roughly 25% of the catalog. Some of the rest of it got split up between Dave Grohl and whatever
So, like, her portion of it is what got sold off?
Yeah.
So that was before the meeting then?
This was before that it ended up being sold off, and I think that so she still held on to a bunch of the rights, and I think that he was trying to buy up the rest of it is effectively which I didn't know. This is kind of just like an interesting side note, is that music IP, like intellectual property assets, is actually like quite a large industry, and I didn't realize that it was. And it, like, I know, people own the rights to catalogs, and I kind of figured that it was like Sony and the majors that own it, and they do. But a lot of investment firms, Brookfield, Bain, BlackRock, uh, like all of them own large swaths of intellectual property in the music industry as a hedge against inflation, because these catalogs then, because they belong to investment firms, actually gain value over the years. Like, it's a growing asset class. And then that allows exit liquidity to both labels and artists as they grow in their careers and whatnot. And it's like to the tune of it's like 50-60 billion dollars. Like, it's not
And
chump change.
they control the media as well, right? And make, like, so they can push. Why do you think some artists are pushed like crazy?
Well, exactly. When they come back and stuff, right? These like weird comebacks that they have, and it's because it's basically, yeah, to inflate this asset class, which is just their music catalog. And
like you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'll never ever I was so mad when U2 was automatically put on iTunes. I don't know if you remember that.
You and everyone, yeah.
It was I liked the first couple U2 albums, like, when I was in high school and stuff like that, right? But I never went, like, from Zooropa on, and then once I just kinda learned what Bono was all about as well. Yeah, and I mentioned them only because they were apparently there during that time in Dublin.
Yeah.
Chris Knowles mentioned that on the Higher Side chats. He said that U2, or no, he said Bono. I think he said Bono and The Edge actually
Okay.
were part of that whole scene. He also said on that episode, that she basically brought all of those drugs to England.
Huh.
Like, through Dublin, and it just, like, it was something that wasn't very available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, all of this to say that, like, we did this sort of roundabout research to realize that they're different, apparently different Kevin O'Learys.
Yeah.
But
But
Brookfield is one of the main investors in Primary Wave Music Publishing. So they supplied like hundreds of millions of dollars of capital to purchase the rights to this music. And yeah, so the guy that was in charge of that portfolio at Brookfield he now works for Bain investment group, who's very heavily invested in AI and data centers and stuff like that now. So everything's full circle, man.
As is Brookfield.
Yeah,
right?
as
Like,
is Brookfield, yeah.
As is the Canadian government, as is Kevin O'Leary.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and, when we talked about that, I so badly wanted it to be easily him, because to me, he's like the Canadian version of Donald Trump. Once again, I'm not a Trump hater for the sake of hating him. I mean, like, he's kind of an actor, right? Like, we know him from TV. He's a bombastic guy. When you read about his education, he wasn't like he went to school, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't like, he didn't excel as a student or anything like that. I think his stepfather, who was a special envoy to the UN,
Yes.
steered him away from, like, philosophy type things into business.
He wanted to be a photographer, was
Yeah,
his
yeah.
original,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
he was
Yeah, yeah.
and, he's like a whatever, a hobbyist guitar player
Mm.
and whatnot. You can watch him attempting to play blues music and stuff
It's I
on YouTube, but,
I sorry, I was just gonna say too, to add to it, I don't think it was him, like, in the '80s at all, but I do think he was banging Courtney Love,
oh, at
and
that time? There's a
yeah,
good chance,
it had
yeah.
nothing. I don't think it had anything to do with buying her music catalog. 2 things can be not true, right? I think that's all it was. I think he just wanted, because he's a fan of music. He's a rock guy, you know what I mean? He
Yeah.
gets to go on a date with a musician that probably, was in his prime in the '90s, but yeah, but something about Kevin O'Leary that's not likable is kinda what I was getting at. Did you see I don't know if you saw his interview on Tucker,
I didn't
and
watch it, no. I really don't like listening to it, like, that's the one thing I'd rather listen to Trump talk than Kevin O'Leary because, Trump's at least kinda funny, and Kevin
yes.
O'Leary's just, like, swarmy, like, he's you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. He's very, very there's something about him that's just punchy. You just wanna he's got like a punchy face, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
And when
yeah,
when he was doing the press conference in Utah for that big data center, he had like this big blue hat on, he was trying to look like the whole "Make America Great Again" kinda look,
yeah.
and 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 he said that anyone who has a problem with these data centers is for sure a Chinese agent, and he singled out the minute someone says that, that's their first response, you know what I mean? Not
Mhm.
not like, "Oh, I understand your concern about these things that are huge that we're putting right next to where you guys live in your neighborhood." You know what I mean? Like, no humanity, no anything. It was just right to, they must be a Chinese agent if you don't want American business. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the type of guy he is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, get your own brand, dude. Like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
your own personality. But I saw another thing with him today where he was talking about like he's like, oh, these Gen Z's making. He's like, Gen Z is cooked. If they just need to like learn how to have some discipline with money and making 70K and spending $28 on lunch. And it's like, dude, that's what lunch costs now. That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
good
yeah.
luck eating lunch for less than $30. Like, what are you talking about? I just yeah, he's a bit of a tool, but,
He did say that in the States, you know what I mean? I don't think he's been back in Canada for a little while,
oh,
maybe.
okay.
Since I'm
So
not that I'm trying to
37.50.
yeah, not trying to
Yeah.
stick up for him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't get the whole Kevin O'Leary thing, Mr. Wonderful, right? That's his nickname. Like, he's had a lot of failed business ventures. When you look at, I'm not gonna list them all because there's literally too many to like, we would just sit here all day and talk about them, and I don't wanna do that.
Mhm.
He doesn't have a lot of overly successful ones, except for his first one was pretty successful. Was it Soft Key? And he
Oh,
sold
yeah.
that, yeah, he sold that to Mattel.
Yep.
But other than that, like, and he's been sued a bunch of times, you know what I mean? Like, for yeah. He's also sued other people for slander, so I should be careful what I say. Read
We
that
love
as
you,
well.
Mr.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Friend of the
Yeah,
show, Kevin
exactly.
O'Leary, friend of the show. And then there was that boat crash, right?
Yeah.
The one in Lake Joseph in 2019, and
That
his
yeah.
wife, I believe, was
She took the fall for that, I think.
yeah. Yeah. We don't need to rehash the details about it, but Google it if you wanna see it and you come to your own conclusion.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, I thought that was kinda interesting, and then that got me actually looking into just, like, weird comebacks in the music world, and we were looking at I know, like, when we hung out the other day, we were looking at, like, celebrities that, look like melting candles now, and
Yeah.
like, all the demons are coming out and showing themselves, and, like, you got there's, like, anywhere from, like we said, like, the Olsen twins who just, like, literally look what did you say? It was, like, the woman from, Ghostbusters, like, when her hair's all blown out and she's
Yeah, she looks like Sigourney Weaver. Yeah,
yeah,
when she's possessed by, was it a Zuzu or whatever I yeah, whatever the devil is in Ghostbusters, yeah.
yeah, and then we got a
Exactly like that.
Olivia Wilde looking like Gollum, and then we have, obviously the Jim Carrey one where that's just not Jim Carrey. And
John
then you
Travolta.
John Travolta, who looks like a Vegas magician now.
Did you
Uh,
see him? I don't know if you saw that. He started. I can't believe I'm admitting that I watched it, but it was like him walking, and he did like a spin and a little dance. He's 72.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And and he was maybe it's the Ozempic.
it,
Yeah.
it melts the fat and the brain.
I It's crazy. Yeah, I don't he's not 72. There's no way. Or the person playing him's not. Was there someone else you were gonna mention? Because there's
Well,
another. Do you remember Community, the show Community?
yeah.
Is it Mindy Kaling or
Oh,
Kaling?
she's from The Office.
Or The Office, that's it. Have you
Yeah.
seen her recently?
I know I heard that she had lost a bunch of weight too. Let me Mindy
Yeah.
Kaling.
Shania Twain's another one.
That was
I
the one I was
had
gonna bring up. Yeah.
I had the wife going for half an hour where I was just showing her random pictures of new Shania Twain. And she is one of the biggest Shania Twain fans, or was, you know what I mean, a while ago. It, as we said when we talked about it, I think every heterosexual male in Canada, like under the age of 35, knows what Shania Twain looks like in your
Yeah.
head. Do you know what I mean? Like, and sure, you're trying to tell me that that's Shania Twain. There's no way. Or it is the best plastic surgery I've ever seen to make her look like a completely different person with a different body and a different nose and different earlobe. Anyway,
So here, we'll do this. Because so this is what we all know and love Shania Twain to look like, right? This is
that's
probably
yeah,
like
classic.
late 90s, mid to
Yeah,
late 90s Shania Twain. And then we
Pride of
have
Timmins.
and now we have new Shania Twain. Which, whoa. What is
But
going
there's a
on?
lot of different ones. I bet you if you find like 4 or 5, like because there's so many, there's some where that you're like, that's like a different person than the last person. It's almost like the Biden thing, right? There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Or
So
maybe not. Like I don't know. I who
this was
knows,
her
man.
at the ACM Awards recently. So
That
one
actually kind of looks like her.
kind of, yeah. The interesting thing I wanted to pull up about her comeback though, which because like she's doing this big tour, like she's doing her like what is it called, like small town Shania or wee town Shania, something like that. Um, so she's doing like a comeback. She's got a new album coming out, kind of out of nowhere and stuff. And the timing of it was kind of interesting because, as everyone's discussing that, like we're in tick season, everyone's scared of all of these ticks and you're not going to be able to eat red meat because alpha, alpha gal syndrome or whatever it is. Shania Twain, was diagnosed with Lyme disease back in the early 2000s and almost lost her career from being bitten by a tick while horseback riding. So I just thought like one of those weird synchronicities, right? That like, why now? Why are they pushing Shania now? She's going to be like a spokesperson for all these people that get
Yeah, that's a good catch, man. I remember that. And it totally slipped my mind till you brought that up. That's a good point. Like who better to right, and that's how they do it, right? They'll use celebrities.
yeah,
I think she's got boomer appeal. She's
yeah,
got big boomer appeal. She'll probably be on vaccination commercials soon, and you know what I mean? CBC
that
during the
was my
World
thought.
Cup will be Shania Twain pushing vaccines. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Get that.
looked up Shania
Huh.
Twain in the old gematria calculator and it's Ark of the Covenant comes up with
That's
her.
interesting.
Yeah. And then what was I did Lyme disease too. Chosen by God.
Hmm.
So yeah. I don't know, man. But yeah, just kind of a weird sync. And then I also didn't realize that so she's remarried because she was married to the Mutt Lang, who is a producer, right? And then he ended up cheating on Shania Twain with this woman who was like her secretary, like her assistant.
That
Uh
is insane.
yeah, and I mean if you look at a picture of the two of them, like he definitely did not trade up. That's but and then so what happened though is this woman that
Hey, love is love, man. Love's love.
I suppose but so the woman he cheated on her with that worked for Shania was married to this guy who works for Nestle in like Switzerland, which they have a home. Shania has a home in Switzerland, and Shania's new wife or
Husband.
Shania's new husband is the ex-husband of this woman that Mutt Lang cheated on her with. So
What?
they swapped.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of strange. I yeah, I'll show you a picture of her. we might as we're being judgy, we might as well continue judging. Um
Hmm.
so yeah, this is the other woman. No, I'm not a terrible looking woman. I'm not.
No, no, no.
But, you know, you had Shania, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they swapped hubbies and I don't think her and Mutt Lang are still together, but Shania is now
With her ex.
with her ex, who is a Nestle executive and Nestle with the water war stuff. Also another interesting connection.
They're an evil company.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember living in Guelph, Ontario, and they had a thing in Aberfoyle, like really close by. And there's a few people who I knew who lived around it, and they were not happy with Nestle. They went through lawsuits then too, with like diverting water, and even after getting this was not in Canada. I think this was in Michigan, and I think it was on Lake Michigan,
Mhm.
or maybe Lake Huron. Anyway, but they were told not to divert water, and they kept diverting it, and they kept water levels went down in Aberfoyle, though. That's what I was going to say. Quite a bit. Like people noticed it.
There was something in yeah, the aquifer exploitation in North America, in Canada and the United States, Nestle repeatedly faced backlash for extracting millions of liters of water from local watersheds for virtually nothing.
Hmm. And then
Um,
bottling it and selling it back to everyone.
yeah, they're taking outside Toronto strained local aquifers and conflicted with the nearby Six Nations treaty land, who were simultaneously struggling with clean tap water access. So, yeah, that's pretty evil, man.
Yeah. That's
So
old Nestle. They've changed their ways though.
yes, apparently.
Isn't the the new head of the WEF, that like crazy looking guy with like the weird eye?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
from Nestle. He was
Yeah.
like head of Nestle for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with his eye? That's
Yeah, he
like,
looks it's funny they can't like Klaus Schwab was a Bond villain, or is like looks like one to me.
uh-huh.
So does this guy though. Like I think that's how they pick them,
Yeah. Well, it's like he
right?
like sneezed really hard one day and like blew a big blood vessel in his eye and it just never healed. Like, uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a odd looking fella.
Yeah.
Mhm. But
Yeah,
who are we to
man.
say anything?
Speaking of villains, though, we got the World Health Organization. I know we spoke about the hantavirus last time, which obviously didn't the marketing didn't work well for that. So now they're on to Ebola. I don't know if you
I
saw that, but
I did. I saw in the mainstream boomer news today. I saw that there's an Ebola. Someone's testing for it or something in Toronto, and it was
yeah,
the first one person who was in Africa, and it
yeah,
it was the headline. Like they pushed it to the top.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah. This thing I said, the WHO knew hantavirus was too weak to cause a global pandemic, and since only Canada and Australia would have been retarded enough to play those COVID era lockdown games again, they moved on to Ebola and declared it a global health emergency.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's just the weekly news.
Yeah. Let's hope everyone does the same thing that they did with hantavirus and say that don't impress me much. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
nice,
Like that.
nice callback.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like that to keep going on if they're gonna keep throwing these stupid things at us and people don't notice. I guess it's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
It's better than people freaking out.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, there
Yeah, no,
hasn't been a run on toilet paper, sorry.
oh, no,
Go
it's
ahead.
yeah, it still brings attention to it. I mean, I guess, we're doing it too, but, like, it's the right kind of attention. It's the point and laugh attention. Let's just mock them. That's fine.
We're shining a light on it kind of attention, yes. Like NASA, speaking of news, they announced today they're gonna put a base on the moon.
Oh,
It
they're doing it.
They're doing it. Artemis, they tweeted it at, like, 2 or 3 o'clock Pacific time today. Yeah.
Right
They're
on.
doing it. It's gonna be part of the Artemis 2 mission. If you want a good laugh, go through the comments section.
It's called the Alan Parsons Project. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, good fun. I think Owen Benjamin responded by sending a picture of, like, a rocket and just talking about Johnson's exactly like,
yeah.
yeah, awesome. I that when they make fun of it, it's so true though. In
Uh-huh.
Austin Powers, right? It's a huge Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe they're gonna attempt to fool everyone with that too. I really don't like it's probably just as a way to again divert more funding towards whatever they want to do for this stuff. In Canadian space news, I know it's been going around, but that space the rocket launch pad in Canso Nova Scotia, the
Mhm.
$200 million cement pad.
And that is a yeah, do you have that story to pull up or no?
I looked up some stuff because I was like, why there? Like, I was like, my
Yeah.
initial thought was like, oh, there's got to be something underground that they're trying to hide there because it's like a 10-year lease on the land and all this stuff. The only thing I could actually find was that the positioning of it, because it's in like northeastern Nova Scotia, like right on the coast. Um, and so it's actually like the positioning of it is prime for polar and sun synchronous orbits. So
Hmm.
like Eastern Atlantic location offers efficient access to high inclination orbits ideal for Arctic surveillance, Earth observation, and military satellites. And Canada just signed into that like Arctic defense thing, right? So
Mhm.
that was my guess, is that that's what they're going to use it for. Is it's just they're going to just launch satellites, let some balloons go from there, which
It's pretty close to Shag Harbor too. And remember, like that was one of our first episode, and I think one of our theories was I don't know if we actually mentioned it in the show or not, but that there's magnetic anomalies because I know that there are. Like I remember doing the research for that. There are a lot of magnetic anomalies as well around Nova Scotia, and I think, in my opinion, a lot of the tech that we don't know about uses those anomalies to or used to anyway.
yeah.
And and also like because you're saying it's a good spot for viewing because like for 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 defense essentially, correct?
Well, yeah, so it's like it's efficient access to high inclination orbits. So it's like
Mhm.
whatever, because of the way they have to launch, they got to
Yeah.
angle it properly. And the other launch sites that are, down the East Coast are for lower orbit, and this is for like higher orbit, like easier access to higher orbit
Hmm.
spots. So
Up in the stratosphere?
yeah, that's kind of what I got from it. Um, so I did search to see if there was anything like significant ley line wise, and nothing really came up. But like you said, like I mean, the ley line maps are so hard to read. You really got to know what you're looking at, because there's
Mhm.
just it's just crisscrossy lines everywhere.
And you don't I like a lot of things when I've tried to look into that because we were trying to I think learn about it a little, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll ask or try to find and it'll say, "Oh, it's on a node somewhere." And I look and I just yeah, I don't get it enough to know what it means. And
Right,
some of
like
it doesn't and a lot of times it's not like I would get it if it's right at the intersection of two very important lines, but I think there's more to that. there's more to ley lines than just being on the line, I think is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
That's kinda what I've understood, yeah. Yeah, and we don't understand it enough. I trust people who do at this point, which is a problem because you know what I mean? I think you should still do your own research, but I do trust people who, post articles about it and seem to be experts on it. I trust their opinion that it's on a ley line, but then, yeah, what does that mean anyway? What do
Yeah.
you think it means? Because I do think it is an energy thing with
I
Earth and
I do too.
yeah.
I think it's like potent energetic spots, like places where the energy sort of like charges and remains charged. Because I think energy disperses among, there's obviously magnetic anomalies that will like move, and the Earth's crust moves,
Mhm,
and everything moves, the tides move, the oceans move, and with that energy moves. But
mhm,
I think there are specific spots where it kind of remains contained, and you're able to, and it sort of charges up, and if people know where those spots are, then they can utilize those specific spots for whatever ritual purposes or for technological purposes. I'm reading that the Portal, or yeah, the Portal, the Patrice Chaplin book.
mhm,
And that's effectively what that book is about. She's like like it's about Rennes Chateau,
mhm,
and this sort of the French and Spanish secret societies that are like have hold the secrets of where these spots, these energetic like prime energetic spots are in the world, and that's where they like build these towers to create portals to hold their rituals or to contact, other entities, and to kind of like pull in the secrets of the universe sort of thing.
mhm. And
Um
that's in, like, North Spain, South France, right? Where that
yeah,
takes place? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And that's parts of it are Basque country.
They would be, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember, yeah, yeah. It's supposed to be a very there is something about that area and ley lines for sure, yeah,
Well, and so they're
yeah.
talking about like because there's specific, yeah, that like these priests, the people that like are basically given access to this information, and like extreme levels of wealth out of nowhere to basically live these lives of like affluence, and have the ability to travel, and have the ability to sort of like protect this this ancient information and stuff, and they're building these towers, these identical towers in different spots. And it's obviously because the way they're constructed is in a certain way to draw the energy in, and they have to be in a certain spot, and they move the information from spot to spot and
Hmm,
send, and like the whole concept of the book is that she's like on this journey to that all these other initiates have gone through to basically learn the secrets of what's out there, and it's all very cryptic, and it's all like, you have to go here first and meditate here and go here and go here, and like, yeah, and she has a guide, and it's all like, it's, to be honest, it's very over my head, and it's very like written in a very romantic way, which is not typically, I mean, anyone that's listened to the show knows I'm not a I'm no poet. Um but it's, yeah, it's really interesting, and it makes me want to travel to that area, and like kind of see, you know, what it's all about, and see if I can tap in and feel those energies, because they're there apparently.
mhm,
And yeah, I don't know. It's just it, but there's definitely something to it. And the one thing I found really interesting about the book so far is too is because, we've talked a lot about. I know we kind of went over this the other day too when we were chatting, but like they like we've talked a lot about, you have the Freemasons, you have these secret societies, and people sort of deem them as like evil, or dark practitioners, and this and that, and it's like it's kind of like dispels that theory in the book, where it's like it's not as black and white as that. Like there are people in these secret societies that want to hold the information hostage effectively, and then but
mhm,
there are people that get into it that are like no, this can benefit society. We need to actually like promote a world that where this is like common knowledge, where we can like, because even in some of the characters in the book that she's talking about are these initiates, and they like have this knowledge and stuff, and they're like fighting tyrannical government regimes and stuff. Like they're anarchists. Like a bunch of them are anarchists and just want to like, want freedom and want the world to be about like art and beauty and all that. And they're I mean they're still, they're elitist in the sense that like they'd probably be perceived as elitist to the average like, hoser, because they're very like, smoking skinny cigarettes and drinking wine cross-legged and stuff. But it's like, you know
And
what I
eating
mean?
eating baguettes.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, but I mean, yeah, it's just that European vibe
Are
versus.
are they the ones who are the gatekeepers? Like, who are the gatekeepers in this instance? And like and my other question is, how is she able to talk about all this so freely without being, you know, without having stuff
Well, so
happen?
the initial gatekeepers are all centered around the church. Like they're all priests and
Hmm.
people that they kind of let into their inner circle. But I mean, they're all human too, right? So they have throughout their life, like have love interests that, when you get close to someone, you reveal your secrets to them. So there's people that have, worked for these priests and stuff that end up getting close to them that become their friends or their lovers or whatever. And they are able to sort of like get an insider look and then are either trusted with information when things get sketchy for this guy. He's like, gives all this info to his maid to take to France and hide it. And then,
Hmm.
she falls in love with someone else, or she becomes, because all of a sudden she's wealthy. So she becomes, entrenched in the artist community and things just get spilled, and so it kind of makes its way through these different characters, and some of them are Freemasons and some of them are just like, the one guy is like a bar owner, like he just has owned this bar that was like the nightlife bar for all the elites. So, people are in there drinking and
Hmm.
telling him, letting him in on stuff, and so he's got all these little tidbits of information, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
be
cool
very
book.
careful. Be very careful what you say in a bar.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
bartender's always listening. Always.
yeah,
Yeah, I really wanna read that book. I've heard her a couple times on different podcasts, and you and I talked about the book the other day,
mhm,
as well. I really would like to either buy it, or I should just buy it or borrow it from you. Um, but it does, so, like, I was just gonna say a couple things. One is, like, to tie it into a couple of our episodes for anyone listening who wants to go back and maybe here's something they haven't heard. We did it, that episode right on Basque Country, and those dolmens, like the stories about the dolmens there are that it's blocking access to portals. That's like one of the old, you know what I mean, stories. And the other thing I was going to point out is the Starfort episode, the Prince of Wales fort, the one in Churchill, is on a similar type of ley line, and it mentioned it in the research as Renly de Chateau, one where it takes in energy. And
yep.
yeah, and I think there was a couple other that are on different ones, but it's quite crazy. To Yeah, I want to read the book. I want
Yeah,
to
they
hear like from her point of view. She's married to Charlie Chaplin's grandson. Is that
I yeah, I think that was it. Or no,
I
no, no.
be- or she is his granddaughter?
I think she is his granddaughter.
Okay.
Yeah. She definitely had like, so she, when she first went to uh is it Garona? And met this Jose guy who sort of got her, like he's like one of the initiates, and they've kind of stayed connected their whole life, and they were lovers at one point, and then he got married and stuff, but he's sort of the one that sets her on this journey when she goes back there after decades later. But when she first went there, she was like 15 years old, like and wanted to be a gypsy. That's what she says in the
Hmm.
book. And so she's, she was like affluent, like traveling with friends kind of thing,
Hmm.
and had that. And then, she was an actress, and everything too. So, she was very entrenched in that like elite artist world. Just, the world of people that don't have jobs and get to just sit around and talk and philosophize all the time. And
Live forever like they're, 19, 20
yeah,
forever. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Different world, right? I think that's why a lot of them got into all the secret society stuff because they had the time. You and I have discussed it many, many times. It would have been nice when I was 21 or 22 to have a month to read the secret teachings of all ages
Mhm.
and learn about all that stuff, but I had to work. Well, I was in school. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have time. I didn't even think about it. Didn't It was a cult. It was hidden from me.
Yeah.
Also, that stuff wasn't even talked about when I was that age, right? So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a different that whole vagabond. And I mean, I have a couple friends that definitely did the whole vagabond thing, but I don't think they really learned a whole lot. They did a lot of acid. Yeah. And they're still bartending, a lot of them now. So
Right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's
Yeah.
but yeah, but that my whole point was, yeah, there's definitely they talk about ley lines. They talk about like trees that were dug up and removed by the church because they didn't because people were starting to figure out that that was like a hot spot for like
Wow.
visions and stuff, and they didn't want people to do that, so they'll come and dig it up or come and destroy a tower or come and do whatever just to hide it.
That would happen now. Could you imagine if they found a portal now?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm sure they do, right? But could you imagine if they publicly did, like I guess essentially like what's the Stranger Things, right? That's a portal.
Hmm.
If they found it in that way, you know what I mean? It was viewed, and I guess in that show though, they keep it hidden from everyone, don't they?
Yeah, well,
They
yeah,
do,
and
yeah, yeah,
we've
yeah,
talked
right.
about the
It's hidden,
whole
yeah.
like the connection to like stargates, right? Like
Hmm.
I definitely think that that's the whole Stargate theory is there's something to that, and there's probably these access points across the globe, world, whatever, flat
Hmm.
disk, that that governments likely have access to that we don't. The whole Antarctica thing, like no one's really allowed to go there. Well, why is that? I don't necessarily think it's because there's UFOs underground. I think it's probably because there's a Stargate or a portal or some, you know, lands that
I
were.
think it's both, but I wouldn't say it's UFOs. I think it's our UFOs, right? Like human UFOs.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
also because how we discussed it many times, but like how do they get along there? That's the biggest one for me. They can't seem to get along anywhere else on this planet. Like the countries, and there's like 19 or 20 countries there, right? And
Mhm.
they get along no problem. There and in space,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah. But here on Earth, no, no, no. Can't. We must fight with each other all the time and go to war and the like.
Mhm.
Yeah. And say Russia's bad,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, old Putin. But, yeah, man, I don't know what's gonna happen with the whole Iran thing. I know every other week it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. The war's been over like 6 different times now, I think.
It's kind of got, pushed to the background too. You don't see a lot of people talking about it as much, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's almost like nothing's really going on, but who knows what's going on. There's no missiles being fired either way now, are there? Or is it
I
it's just
don't
once in a while, like little sporadic ones, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't think so, and I know I mean, it's a lot of just market manipulation at this point, and they just, they make the price of oil do this, and
Mhm.
it's squeezing different markets and I think trying to create a global, like an emergency crisis, but I don't know if they're really doing it, like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah, it's for sure to dick around with gas. And
Yeah, like
it was a distraction from Epstein files, right? Like, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You know all the reasons.
And then there is the theory that the Iran Stargate that I mentioned that in the one episode too. Like I it could who knows, man? This all could just have to do with these different portals around the world that are every global conflict could just be someone fighting for control of that Stargate.
And think about the oldest, supposedly the oldest place on Earth, right? I would assume that there would be, if there was knowledge of stargates, there would be probably some in the Middle East. And think like there's
Oh yeah.
for the Middle East, everyone kind of got along kind of for a while until the people who want all that stuff and want the information for where all those things are got involved, and that's when the turmoil began in the Middle East. So
Uh-huh.
maybe there is something to that. I know they talked about that in Iraq, right? The first Desert Storm and the second one. I think the second one was to get what they couldn't find the first time. I think it was
Yeah.
something like that. Like they learned about it the first time. That's why they went back the second time.
Wasn't it like an Ark of the Covenant thing? Like
Well, that's what people
supposedly?
said. Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? I know that a lot of it was about gold and oil. It's always about oil and gold and rebuilding. That's
Uh-huh.
another. But I think those are all offshoots, right? If you can get a portal out of it, kick ass, man.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
A portal or an an Ark of the Covenant, like,
Yeah, I got an Ark of
and
the Covenant, a portal,
yeah,
and a holiday resort all in one go. Like
yeah. And all my friends
winning.
get to rebuild this country we've just demolished,
Yeah.
right? You'll see it soon with Gaza when they start rebuilding Gaza. Look at all the companies that they'll give the contracts to, and it'll
Uh-huh.
happen. It'll happen, and they'll put something there, and for as part of what the Greater Israel Project or whatever the hell that thing's called. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're not going to touch on that. Well, we touched on it. We're not going to continue on that.
No, no.
No,
That'll be a resort I will not go to. Not that
no, no.
not that
There would
I
be a lot of bad juju, I would think, at that resort.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking to the right, like how water has memory, and I've learned that, like, the last water has memory, land has memory,
Absolutely.
right? And what is that land's memory?
I've often thought about that with like, because you see different resort like the resort town or resort areas sort of pop up and change as like what's popular, right? Like Acapulco was like the spot in like the 80s, and then it was Cancun, and then whatever as far as like Mexico goes, and then but like Nicaragua all of a sudden popped up as like the resort spot. And actually this is really funny. There was a movie called, I think it was called Puff Puff Pass, and it was like Danny Masterson, who's whatever, he's in prison now, but um, it was like a stoner comedy, a really like bad, low budget stoner comedy from the early 2000s. And I had a copy of it on DVD that I got at like a garage sale. And the whole like joke in it is that this guy, this like drug dealer dude, is like, I'm buying up all this land in Nicaragua. It's gonna be the new resort town. Everyone's like, Nicaragua, like, okay. And he's like, trust me, Nicaragua. And I thought it was so funny at the time because like he's showing pictures, and it was like, Nicaragua was like, I think it was like a bit of a civil war kind of thing, like a militia type deal. Like, I don't
Mhm,
know the whole history on it. I watched an Anthony Bourdain thing on Nicaragua once, and it was like all about basically how, yeah, the government like destroyed everything there. People were living in poverty, and it was like there were like all these murders happening. And now Nicaragua is legit a like resort. It's like going to Costa Rica. Like, you know what I mean? Like
mhm.
it's
Less
it's
crime.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was it Bukele, or he's turned the country around. A lot of it Nicaragua got overthrown, right? Like
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
the CIA, like a CIA backed coup, put in someone that they wanted there instead, and then that person ran it like a dictatorship and ran it to the ground, and the states pulled out and didn't care. I think it was part of the Iran Contra scam, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they pulled out, and look what was left for the longest time, and then now it's turned around, but they're like that is an example though of how like a problem was created by by governments, not by the people who live there, not by Nicaraguans. And and over time they demanded a solution and needed a solution, and it was digital ID and digital wallet, right? Because that's it
Mhm.
has done all those things, but at what cost? Like they
Mhm.
have max super prisons, there's cameras everywhere compared to before. There's cameras everywhere here too now as well, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, that's my kind of
But
guess
land's worth
with
a lot.
yeah.
The stoner guy was right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. It's a pretty funny movie. I remember it being pretty funny, but he's like terrified of dogs and this little chihuahua chases him around and stuff. Is such a bad stoner comedy. Like like half baked, but like way worse.
Really? Like
Yeah.
more stonery?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It was yeah, Danny Masterson. I it was like in the height of his like 70s show uh stardom as well. It's kind of a weird.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up
I'll have
a
to check it
picture.
out. Hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, were you saying that because too, do you think that the land in Nicaragua would have bad juju? Or were
Oh
you just
yeah.
yeah.
That was my point, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
sorry, I kinda interrupted you, so I figured.
no, it's
So I'll
I'm fucking all over the place today, man.
it's all good, man, I'm catching what you're throwing down.
This is Puff Puff Pass. That was the DVD cover.
It's totally half-baked,
100%, yeah.
except they switched around, like, the colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's 2 black guys, 1 white guy, and anyway. Cool. Well, I'll have to watch it sometime with you.
Yeah. For
Huh.
sure.
That is a thing too, right? North America, a lot of the most haunted places are always like a Civil War battleground or, an
Mhm.
old plantation or somewhere where there was a battle like, 5, 600 years ago between warring like First Nation tribes or something.
That's true.
That's yeah. What do you think about living here on the island? Like, do you, I,
I
f- sorry, I'll let you go first and then I'll tell you what
I
I think.
always like I mean, I've like there's a lot of small places on so the island is really broken up. That's I think the thing a lot of people that don't like haven't been to Vancouver Island or don't really understand the island as like its own thing, sort of just view it as like an offshoot of Vancouver, which it's totally not at all. Like having lived in Vancouver for years, it's its own thing. And there's so many different parts of the island, and then you have the Gulf Islands, and you have, and each spot has its own kind of vibe to it, and a lot of them are very, like, creepy, like,
Mhm,
you know what I mean? Like, very, like,
mhm.
it's not just because it's, like, gray and socked in for 6 months of the year, but it has this very, like, isolated, creepy, ghost towny feel outside of Victoria. Victoria is just whatever. Victoria is like, yeah, the like Vancouver's little cracked out sister. That's but
Victoria sits on a ley line.
I
Like,
yeah.
right on a major ley line, but I think it goes up through Salt Spring as well.
Mhm,
I agree with you, I feel this so it's weird because I was saying it only because my understanding of First Nations culture on the island anyways, for the most part, there wasn't a lot of warring,
mm,
and even when like, the first Europeans came, not that there wasn't like, it wasn't the same as it was in other parts of North America, I don't believe, I could be wrong, but that's been my understanding. But there have been very big tsunamis here, like historical tsunamis, and that's kinda what I was getting at, like, I sometimes when I'm at certain beaches in certain places, there's, like, a real heavy, heavy, heavy feeling that overcomes you almost. Also,
mhm,
there's a lot like, sometimes it's a very light feeling or whatever. I think it's things like that, but I also think it's the tide, the energy of the tide, because the tide, at least where we live, goes is in and out twice a day and
yeah,
it's a strong current and it's a fairly strong tide, it's gonna pull energy in and out with it, right?
yeah.
I think that's
Actually,
what it
yeah,
is.
you can
But
definitely feel it, especially on some of the like if you go to like Mystic Beach, French Beach, that whole, like, Juan de Fuca stretch there, like, it has a very sorta, like, ethereal feel to it, like, it's very otherworldly,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's feels, like, really safe and light and fun and, like, but at the same time, if you go on a day when, like, the tide is crashing in and it has a very, like you said, a really heavy feeling to it, and you're sort of just like, I don't know if I should be here right now." Like, I don't know if it wants me here.
Yeah, oh, for sure, it tells you it doesn't want you there, yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
Taylor Beach is like, because Taylor Beach is a beautiful beach. Like,
Mhm.
it's one of the best beaches, I think, in Canada, and it's long, and you always feel kinda safe there and whatever, but if you go there on the wrong tide with a bit of a wind, and the waves are crashing up, like, you can't you can park in the parking lot and walk to, like, halfway down that hill, but you're not going anywhere any farther because it's you know what I mean? You really see its
Yeah.
ferocity, and that's here, like, on the out where you're talking, the waves are even bigger, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
China Beach is like well, yeah, that whole Juan de Fuca stretch is really eerie. Um,
A lot of shipwrecks there because that whole trail was the old like, there's always been a trail from Victoria out to Renfrew, I believe, and it's to look obviously a trail to travel, but it was for survivors, like, if there was ever a shipwreck or whatever, that's, where they went and looked for people and rescue.
huh.
So I'm sure and there's been multiple shipwrecks off of Sombrio and China Beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't been up, like, super North Island, like, even, like, up Haida Gwaii way, like, way up there, because
Mhm.
that's you start getting into, like, Alaska territory where and it's even more isolated and even more kinda like you really gotta you're at the mercy of nature. It's not,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
it's it calls the shots.
We talked about it the other day, Quadra Island. The north part of Quadra Island, Whale Town, I think it's called, like an abandoned town in the north part of Quadra Island. That place is spooky. That's the
Mhm.
spookiest place I think that I've been to. I don't even know if spooky is the right word. It really my hair was standing up the whole time I was there, and same with my wife's. Like,
Huh.
it was yeah. It's an eerie place,
Yeah.
but beautiful. It's so weird, right? That's the weird thing about here. Just such a beautiful, beautiful place, and when you get that feeling sometimes, yeah, it comes out of nowhere and doesn't really fit what you're looking at, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, it definitely would have been a good spot if for anyone, like, into the occult or into that there's spots that definitely have, like, a bit of a witchy vibe where, like, if you were gonna, like, hold rituals or you were gonna try and work with the energy of the universe, like,
Mhm,
yeah, it's a good spot to do it, I would think.
mhm.
Yeah.
So, listen, man, I gotta pull a Kurt Metzger and just jump out of here in a sec. I just saw my text, but
Alright.
I did, and like maybe give me we'll kind of do a countdown now, kind of thing. Um, I only say it because I did want to mention too, uh, on current events because I guess that's kind of what this show is, right? Or these types of shows. Another thing I saw just before we came to air was they okayed generic Ozempic in British Columbia for
Okay.
sale. Yeah.
Huh.
So, and I and I
President's
am
choice Ozempic is on the market, hey?
and I immediately because he said hantavirus before as well, and I know we should be doing plugs just for our show and probably only our show and people who come on our show. But Tim Dillon is a friend of the show, and that hantavirus iPad baby uh hour
Is
of
that
his.
yeah.
And that's what the minute I saw that Ozempic was I was thinking about that episode.
Yeah.
And it just because it's crazy. It's crazy how it's everywhere. It's crazy they don't push health and proper eating and sunlight and exercise and they don't. Like I guess they kind of did with like Hal Johnson and Body Break in like the 90s. You know what I mean? Was it with
Yeah.
Joanne
Oh,
McLeod and Hal Johnson? But they
yeah.
kind of did it like kind of, but not really. But they really want people to take Ozempic.
Yeah. Well, I think I originally I had read theories that it was because they want people down to like drafting weight, for the coming wars and stuff, right? But my thought too is it's like, what does it do? It's a food suppressant. Like it makes you not want to eat. And they're gonna be like pushing this like famine and stuff. So who's gonna be able to like withstand you know? I
Eh,
like my 3 squares a day. I
at least 3 squares, and I was
yeah,
gonna say too, when you said what you just said, I had visions too of, like, it's very transhumanist.
big
It
time.
goes with that whole thing too, right? Like, you don't need food and, you do this and you can eat less and be a better human, and yeah, I didn't even think of it that way. Huh.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about all those real like, yeah, some of them are really bad, how much it can't be healthy. It
There's no way. There's no
and
way.
and once they go off it, then the weight goes right back on too. Doesn't Is that true or
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I just know that if you don't do it right, like, yeah, you lose bone density and the actual, like, your fascia, like, the muscle tissue becomes, like, thin and stringy and stuff, so it doesn't hold together the way that like, it's
Mhm.
basically like the webbing of your body, this what holds everything together
So are
starts to kinda
people gonna
just, like
just start turning to Jabba the Hutts? But, like, do you know what I mean? Like, are
yeah.
people just gonna start melting in front of you and stuff and have
Yeah,
no
I don't
bones? Like,
Well, basically, I
yeah.
don't know. Look at yeah, I mean, anyone that's you can definitely tell when someone's like abusing it, right? Like it's become pretty obvious, especially in the celebrity world, who's on it and who's not.
Mhm.
It changes their facial structure and everything. So yeah, man, I don't know. I just go for a walk, lift a kettlebell. Don't eat like 3 cakes a day. I don't know. Like it's
What
not
happened
hard.
to love who you are?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Weren't
or
they
that.
pushing that, like, a year ago? Wasn't it, like, giant people everywhere in every ad? All the like, they were.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. How can people not see this?
Oh yeah.
It blows my mind.
Well, the ones that really porked up during that whole stretch are probably, like, feeling pretty abandoned at this point. It's like, there's a lot of people that were, like, body positive and like, "Okay, you know what? Then I'm just gonna kinda let myself go, and I'm just gonna love me for me." And now it's like, it's not quite good enough. You should probably get
Yeah, and they did it on purpose, I'm sure, like everything else.
Yeah,
Like, did it
yeah.
on pushed it on purpose, and it's so once your eyes are open, right, I guess you see it all the time and everything,
Yeah, that's just it.
or you're
But,
paranoid.
again, well, I mean, it's probably a little of both, but also like common sense. Like, yeah, you want to be healthy, just like eat good food and like move your body. It's not that
Mhm,
complicated. It's really not,
mhm.
you know.
I something to add, because you and I agree on most things, because 'cause I'm gonna have to wrap up the show in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add quickly, you can eat so the whole $28 a day on lunch, that's if you're going out, but if you made your own lunch, you can for sure, and I think healthier food for the most part can be done cheaper now than the processed crap. Like, if you cook for yourself, that's the best way. That's
Oh
what I would
yeah.
say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exercise more, eat lots of veggies, cook for yourself, eat lots of meat, cut the carbs. There you go, everyone, done. No
That's
Ozempic.
Mike's life advice for
Yeah,
this episode. Yeah.
and hack a pack of butts a day.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
All
Alright,
right,
brother.
man. Well, I'll let you do your thing. This was fun. Thanks everyone out there for hanging on for this episode. It's a wing and a prayer most of the episode, but we made it. We did it. And yeah, like, subscribe, share, leave us a review. That helps. So right on.
And listen and watch helps the most.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
man. All right, from the from the land of the high seas and the tall trees, I'm Mike.
I'm Andrew.
Have a great night.
Catch you next time.